Hello and welcome into this week's edition of the Danny Sancomb Show. My name is Matt Kiefer. I'm the special host this week and also the sports information director here at Cal U. Alex King, the normal host, is traveling today actually to the PSAC Championships for swimming in York, Pennsylvania, where the Vulcans will be one of about 18 teams competing for some hardware out there in York. So Alex, I'll try to fill in the best I can for you. But Coach, thanks for letting me hop on board here this week. And now you and Alex have had a good thing going this year.
Glad to have you, and Alex is playing hooky on us today.
Yeah.
I'm not letting him off that easy.
So, but yeah, we got a couple games last week to look at, and then also previewing tomorrow's matchup with Seton Hill. So, first of things going back to last week was Wednesday against IUP. Obviously, they're a top 10 team in the country for a reason. It's the second time CalU's been right there with them this year, but both times, unfortunately, just a little bit of a setback there. And IUP still has that top spot in the division. Just talk a little bit about the game overall.
Yeah, a little disappointing. I thought we played really well for 35 minutes. I think with 5:03 left, it was a tie game, and we just didn't execute. We were 1 for 6 from the free throw line the last 4 minutes, and missed 2 front ends of one-on-one, and just didn't take good shots down the stretch. So that hurt us, and they're a good team. They executed. They made the plays. That's what good teams do. But I just think we're can learn from it. We watched that on Thursday and really talked about what we could do better, and I think moving forward we will do better. But they executed better than us the last 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I mean, IUP in the first half, Malik Miller was in foul trouble. I mean, you had to like that, and you saw he only played 8 minutes to the foul trouble. But Armani Foster proved why he's one of those top players in the region, having 19 points in the first half. Can you just talk about how he stepped his game up, knowing Miller to be on the bench, and even a couple other role players for them?
Yeah, he did. I liked when Miller picked up fouls, and he wasn't in rhythm early in the game, which was good for us. But Foster was on fire, making threes, putting the ball on the floor, and creating for himself and creating for others. Those two guys are two of the best wings in our league, and they happen to be on the same team. So it's really hard to, guard them. He had 19 points and really carried them through the first half, making plays for himself, but also making plays for his teammates. And you expect those two guys to do that. They're capable scorers. They're capable facilitators. They do it really. They do it all. So, he got off to a great start. I thought in the second half we did a really good job on him in the second half, but they had other guys that stepped it up and were able to make plays.
Yeah, we're watching the highlights there early in the second half. CalU opens the second half on a 10-2 break after ending the break. That's got to be something you'd be happy as a coach, seeing a deficit at halftime, but being able to come back early in the second half to take a lead right here, about 14 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had a 5 or 6 point lead at one point with maybe 9 minutes left. And we did a good job. We executed. We took good shots. They're so good defensively. They make it hard on teams to get good shots, but I thought we were hanging in there and executing well. We were doing a great job not turning the ball over, but when we did turn it over, it was a live ball turnover, and they hurt us. They scored off the turnovers.
Yeah, Jermaine Hall had another double-double in this game with 18 points and 10 rebounds. Can you just talk about, as a coach, the benefits of having a player like that, and also Tim Smith there with the big three, having those guys who can stretch the floor when you have guards such as Brent Pegram and Zion Collins who are so good at driving, but also shooting the outside shot?
I think all of our guys can play off one another. They really have the ability. Jermaine is so tough, a little bit undersized. He rebounds so well. He's shooting the ball extremely well. He's making good passes. He can defend perimeter players and post players. He gives us a great opportunity to win. His versatility really helps us on both ends of the floor. Tim Smith's the same way. He just continues to get better each and every game. Really excited about how much he's improved since the beginning of the year, and he has the ability to guard inside. He has the ability to guard on the perimeter. He can score by putting it on the floor. He stretches the floor. He can make threes, and his confidence has grown. As his confidence continues to grow, he'll just continue to get better in all areas of the game.
Yeah, you referenced how Foster had 19 in the first half. He only finished with 24, so he really shut him down in the second half. And Miller, you could tell, was frustrated the entire game. You just talk about some of those other pieces the IUP had that made it difficult there down the stretch when you just couldn't get the baskets. You needed to sort of stop their run and keep the score as close as you could.
Well, I think they do a great job understanding their role, each player, and they don't step out of that. They do what they're supposed to do. When Miller has a tough game And then you have Humphreys, who is just all over the glass, making tip-ins and getting offensive rebounds, giving them second chance points. And then Porterfield has the ability to stretch the floor. He can score in the post. He passes it well. Those guys really understand what they're supposed to do, and that's why they're difficult to beat, because they usually don't beat themselves. And I thought, not that they didn't beat us, but we kind of handed them the game down the stretch by not executing as well as we had up to that point. I think if we execute down the stretch, we have an opportunity to win that game.
I referenced earlier how Jermaine had double-double, but you look at the starting, the box score, all 5 starters reached double figures. That's something as a coach you always got to be happy to see 5 guys contributing, and then Brent Pegram also had 18 points and 7 assists, so just contributing in multiple aspects there.
Yeah, and like I said, I think, whoever we put out there, they're capable scorers. Everybody on our team can shoot it a little bit. Everybody on our team can put the ball on the floor a little bit. Everybody on our team passes it pretty well. So, when we're out there, I don't think you can focus. Some people might say, hey, we'll focus on Brent because he scores points, or Zion and Luke. I think there are 3 leading scorers. But if you do that and you're leaving Jermaine open and you're leaving Tim open, or you're leaving Phil Alexander open or Baba open, they're going to hurt you. They're going to make plays. So, I think that's kind of what we've always tried to recruit here. We want to have 5 guys on the floor that are capable scorers at all time.
Okay, now looking ahead on to Saturday, something much more positive note there. Getting the 93-67 victory over Edinboro. For Cal, it was the first time in 7 years they swept the series with the Fighting Scots. It's a tough place to play, and Edinboro's had some really good overall players the last couple of years. Can you just talk about the importance of those kind of milestones when you sweep series against teams when you're building a program here in your second year here at Cal?
Well, you want to win conference games, and we all know it's a little bit more difficult to go on the road than win. And we wanted to go out there and play. And it felt like we hadn't won a game in a while because we lost to Pitt Johnstown, had a week off, and then lost to IUP. And we played pretty well in those games. Obviously, they're 2 of the better teams in our region. But to bounce back there, I just liked how we played. We moved the ball. I think we had 19 assists. We scored points. We were efficient from the 3. And most importantly, I thought we defended very, very well, the 2 and the 3. And we rebounded the basketball. And that was a couple things we were really emphasizing that we wanted to do a good job on, and we were able to do that for 40 minutes to hold them to, 63 points. That's a good number for us.
Yeah, in the first half you had runs of 13-2 and 10-2, so it's obviously the offense was really clicking there. And again, to only give up 4 points to the opposing team in those 2 runs, that's pretty nice to be able to have those kind of things, to have the offense click and then get some transition buckets, like we see right here with Phil Alexander with a dunk on fast break.
Yeah, and again, defense. I think that's very, very important, when you're able to hold. I think they shot 38% for the game. And when you're doing that to somebody at their home gym, you're playing good defense. So I think when we defend and we move the basketball on offense, we're going to have a good chance to beat anybody that particular night.
Yeah, looking at the box score again, Cal had 57 rebounds, including 23 offensive, and you have to be pleased with the idea of so many different guys attacking the glass. I mean, when Luke House is leading your team in rebounds in double digits, that's a pretty good day on the glass for the team overall. Absolutely.
We did a great job rebounding. Anytime you're plus double digits on the glass, you did a good job. And I think, it speaks of Luke and what type of player he is for us. He didn't get a lot of shot opportunities. He didn't shoot it as well as he normally does. I think he was 1 for 6 or 1 for 7 from the field. But then he does all the other things with 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 0 turnovers. And that's what you need, and that's what helps you win in our league, guys that are consistent night in and night out. So that was good for him to give us those 12 rebounds.
Yeah, and then also in this game, Baba was able to get you 10 points and 9 rebounds off the bench, and that's something you obviously got to like to see. A guy who's been missing some time due to injuries, different things like that, and working his way back into rhythm.
Yeah, when he's healthy, he's going to contribute in those 2 areas on a regular basis. He's just had the thumb injury. He had a illness with the flu. It's been a difficult freshman year for him, but when he's out there and he has the preparation in the practices, he always performs well for us, and he gives us good toughness. And 1 rebound away from a double-double, and you're getting that off your bench. He's capable of that, and going down the stretch, we're expecting that from him, and we need that from him if we want to be an elite team.
Yeah, late in the game, Cal basically, the game was well in hand, but still scored 9 of 11 points there. How big is it for you guys, for the team to know to always finish the game? Don't worry about the score necessarily, but just finishing strong and trying to make the statement of that you're here to play all 40 minutes.
Yeah, and we try to emphasize that with our guys. I think our guys know that. We've been able to win some very close games, knowing we've had to play for 40 minutes, and we've lost some tough games at the buzzer. So our guys, I think this time of year, really understand the importance of playing and being ready to play every night. And when you go out there, being ready to play for 40 minutes or maybe 45 minutes if necessary. So I think we're still building to that, but I see our team's getting better in that area.
Yeah, and then the last note I had for the Edinboro contest, Brent Pegram scored another 30-point game, had 5 3-pointers, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and tied his career high in 6 steals. Can you just talk about, again, being his coach for 3 years, where have you seen his growth develop the most, maybe as a player, either on the court or as a leader of the team?
Yeah, he's just grown in every facet of the game. He obviously shoots the ball extremely well, but he's worked at it. I think he was 5 of 10 from the three, which is a high number, 50%. And I think he was 11 of 22. But the assist is what I liked. I think he had 8 assists in the game. And when he is able to get in the lane and he makes the right decision, we're really hard to guard at that point in time. Brent's always been a terrific defender on the ball. He's improved off the ball. Obviously, 6 steals. He's capable of stealing the ball a lot, but 6 is a high number. He was dialed in, and we need him dialed in. We've talked a lot about being in February. The month of February is important, and we want him to elevate his game this February. He had some back injuries last year, and we felt like February was difficult for him. We asked him to do a whole lot last year, and our team's different, but we want him to be able to make plays for others, get guys in position where they have great looks, and knock it down, and then we need him to score the ball as well and get us in our offense as well.
Yeah, we'll take a quick break here and look at the Seton, and then come back, preview the PSAC West standings, and look around the rest of the league, and also look at tomorrow's opponent, Seton Hill. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Danny Sancomb Show. I'm your special host for the week, Matt Kiefer, Sports Information Director here at CalU. Coach, we took a look at last week's games, and let's just take a quick look here at the PSAC West standings. With only 4 games left in the regular season, it's obviously getting very tight in every game, meaning something. IUP still in control of, hasn't clinched it yet, but still in control of first place in the PSAC West standings. Then UPJ and Mercyhurst, 1 game apart, and then CalU right there behind. But very Slippery Rock last week over the weekend clinched the 6th spot. So with 4 games left, everybody knows their teams, but the seedings are still left up to play. As a coach, knowing you have those 6 teams already in lock, and how important is every game matters in proving to try to get the highest seed possible, get the home games, and just set yourself up for the best opportunity in the PSAC tournament.
Yeah, and that's the goal, for us, as cliche as it may sound, is we're 1 game at a time. Our focus and all of our focus has to be on our next opponent, which is Seton Hill, and then when we finish with them, we'll worry about Clarion after that, and then Gannon, and then our Mercyhurst, and then Gannon. So it's just 1 game at a time, and you can see it's very, very close. So a lot of things can change over 4 games. So the good thing about us is if we take care of our business, we'll be in good shape. So we got to be ready to play 4 more times at a high level. And we got to be able to play some home games. I think we got 2 at home and 2 on the road, and be able to go on the road. So our mindset is 1 game at a time, play our best basketball, and then after the 29th of February, see where we're at and get ready to play a game, or hopefully have a bye.
Yeah, we just took a look at the West there. We take a look at the East, a little bit more. More of a mix there, with Shippensburg being the only team technically in the PSAC East to clinch a spot, much less their own position in the seeding in it, which Shippensburg already has clinched that well ahead with a 16-3. But they need to see a jumbled mix there with East Stroudsburg, Westchester, Millersville, Lock Haven, Shepherd, and Kutztown, all separated by only basically 3 games there with 4 games left to play. So there's a lot left in the East still to be decided here the last couple of weeks. So it should be very interesting looking at some of the matchups coming down the road in the PSAC East. I mean, Shippensburg is a team you've seen already and know they're one of the best teams in the region this year.
Dogfights. They're so tight right now, and if you have a bad week, let alone a bad game, a lot you can go from being in the tournament to being out of the tournament. So I'm sure those games will be played at a high level and really with a playoff atmosphere.
Yeah, and then taking a look at Saturday's results from this past weekend, there's some good games in there, some really high-scoring games as well. Obviously, the Cal U game topping Edinboro is obviously a great one there. But the Westchester-Bloomsburg game, you see 197, you're like, okay, it's a high-scoring game, until you realize Robbie Heath scored 50 points for Westchester. I know you were a prolific scorer in college, but 50 points is still an incredible feat in the game of basketball.
50 points for a freshman is unbelievable, and he had it going. I made a bunch of foul shots. He shot a good percentage. 50 points is unheard of, and they needed all 50 of them to win the game. So hats off to him. That's a unbelievable individual performance.
Yeah, and then Slippery Rock there gets the win 58-50 to clinch a spot in the PSAC tournament. And they're going to be a tough out just because of the two seniors, Till and Robinson. When they're in the tournament, they're definitely going to make the most of it. And then also Lockhaven defeated Shippensburg. The team we just looked at was clearly ahead in the East with the seed locked up and everything. They went double overtime and beat them 104-103.
Yeah, big win for Lockhaven because that catapulted them to being in the playoffs. I think last week when we did the show, they were on the outside looking in, and now they had that win, so they're in, and hopefully they can, for their sake, they can take that momentum and build on it and make a run to the tournament.
Yeah, and then we're going to look at tomorrow's matchup of Seton Hill in a second, but also just take a look first at all the schools in the PSAC that have games going on tomorrow for the schedule in the PSAC. You have Clarion at Gannon tomorrow at 7:30, Edinboro at IUP 7:30, Westchester Kutztown, East Stroudsburg Mansfield, Millersville Shepherd, Bloomsburg Lockhaven, and then Pitt Johnstown at Mercyhurst. Now, obviously, in the West perspective, the Pitt Johnstown Mercyhurst game plays a pivotal role in the standings. But again, you have to worry about Seton Hill, but that's got to be an interesting game with different styles there, with UPJ being able to score a lot of different guys that can score. But Mercyhurst prefers to play more of a slowed down kind of game, a lot of defense.
That'll be an interesting matchup. Both teams are very well coached, and both teams are very good at what they do. You hit on Mercyhurst is a slow it down, grind it out type of team who just creates very few possessions for each team, so you got to make the most out of them. And Pitt Johnstown's a team, if they get it going, they can really score some points. So that should be an interesting matchup for sure.
Yeah, and then for the Vulcans tomorrow, Seton Hill comes to the Convocation Center at 7:30 for tip-off for the men's game. Earlier this year, it claimed an 88-74 win over in Greensburg. Again, Seton Hill, second-year head coach, Kendrick Saunders, trying to piece some different things together there. What have you seen on film about them this time to maybe where they were this time a month ago when you played them earlier?
Well, they execute. You know, they play hard. They've been in a lot of games. They're very similar to us as far as I think they have like 9 freshmen on the team. So we have that. So there's been some growing pains where I think as you go through the course of the year, guys just get better and understand the whole process of playing college basketball. But they have the ability to score the ball inside and out, and they have terrific players on the perimeter, and they have a terrific post player that can score the ball inside. So they can create some matchup problems for sure. We need to be ready to play and do the things we do well, make it difficult on them to score the basketball. We really got to bring our defense tomorrow.
Yeah, last meeting, Luke House was one of those games, a career game for him, having 27 points, shot 11 of 13, basically made every shot, including 5 of 6 from three-point land. So this is one of those games in those gyms. He was just in rhythm the whole game with Seton Hill there.
Yeah, he had some good looks. He made some great cuts in that game and got some baskets early in the game, some layups, and then hit some threes. And we needed all 27 points. He was just in great rhythm there and had great look. And Luke's as good a shooter as you can be in our league. So when he gets good looks, he's a knockdown shooter. But he made plays that game. He put the ball on the floor and scored. He put the ball on the floor and created for others. And we'll need him to do that again tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, game, Cal shot over 50% from the floor and 11 of 20 from three-point lane. So if you're shooting 50 from the floor and 50 from beyond the arc, you definitely like your chances in a game of basketball.
Absolutely. We were moving the ball well, taking good shots. We were hard to guard that night, especially the first half. We moved the ball and played extremely well offensively in the first half.
Yeah, Seton Hill is one of the top scorers and top players in the league, and Nathan Davis, a name that's been familiar. He's averaging about 20 points a game, 5.5 rebounds. But you guys only held him down to 8 points in that contest. Obviously, is a big part of the factor of why that game went the way it did. But what was about how you guys went about trying to stop Davis to having an off night?
You just got to work hard, and it's got to be a group effort. He has the ability to shoot the three. He has the ability to put the ball on the floor, good in the mid-range, can finish at the rim. And he plays hard, and he's always moving, so it's hard to guard him. So it's a team effort. Zion Collins did a really good job guarding him, but our rotations were good with him. We were locked in on him and made everything difficult for him. We didn't give him many open looks to get open. So we'll have to continue to work hard and do that again tomorrow night, or he'll have a big game. If you give him good looks, he'll make shots.
Yeah, and then Jimmy Moon, a Whitfield product from Sarah Catholic, had a double-double in that game, a freshman. So he's had a typical kind of freshman, as you said, a lot of guys on the roster. Have you seen Jimmy's play develop here on film, what you've seen?
He's just versatile. He's big and strong, especially for a freshman. He has the ability to score in the post. He also has the ability to pick and pop and make catch and shoot threes, and he's very good on the glass, and he competes and plays hard. So he's improved. Obviously, he was a very good player coming in, but he's improved his game, and he'll continue to improve just by the way he plays. He has great effort on the floor, and he brings it night in and night out.
Yeah, okay. Well, again, that's tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. in the Convocation Center, Cal U versus Seton Hill. Only have a couple games left in the regular season there. Obviously, home tomorrow, then on the road for 2 games at Clarion at the new look Tippin Gymnasium. I'm sure people in the studio will be excited to see the new look. It's been a couple years since people have been able to go there. Then at Mercyhurst, February 26th, and then Senior Day, February 29th against Gannon in the Convocation Center before the start of PSAC tournament, which is always going to be exciting.
Yeah, it's so quick, though. We start, and it seems like it's such a grind, and it really is a grind for the players, for the coaches. And then you blink your eyes, and here you are with 2 weeks left in the regular season thinking, where did it go? So we put ourselves in position. Hopefully we can finish strong and make some noise and end up with the best seed we possibly can for the conference tournament. But we're obviously excited that we have an opportunity to continue to play in postseason this year, and we want to get as high a seed as we possibly can at this point.
Yeah, that's great. Again, tomorrow, 7:30 in the Convocation Center. You can follow all the action on calvulcans.com. I know at least a couple people in York, Pennsylvania will be following the game as well. But best of luck tomorrow against Seton Hill and to the Vulcans in York with the PSAC Swimming Championships. Alex King will be back next week, hopefully, so you'll be back to normal there. But again, my name is Matt Kiefer. Thanks again for joining us again for this week's edition of the Danny Sancomb Show.